It was one of those crisp spring mornings when sunlight painted everything gold, the kind of morning that made the city hum with promise. But for Aaron Hale, the day began like every other, rushed, tired, and heavy with quiet worry. His 5-year-old daughter, Chloe, was sitting by the kitchen counter swinging her small legs, humming a tune from a cartoon she loved. Her hair was still messy from sleep, but her smile was his only peace. Aaron was late for work again. The pancakes were half burnt, the bills stacked like mountains on the table, and the rent reminder on his phone kept blinking red. Once he had dreamed of becoming an architect. Now, he was a maintenance worker at a luxurious event venue, the kind of place that hosted rich people's parties he could never attend. Before we go deeper into Aaron's story, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and love that heals even the most broken hearts, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Journal. Your support helps stories like this reach more hearts. That day, the Silver Lake estate was buzzing with preparation. A charity gala was being organized by one of the city's wealthiest families, the Whitmores. The estate looked like something out of a dream: white marble floors, grand chandeliers, and gardens bursting with tulips. Aaron was assigned to fix the outdoor lights near the pool area. As he crouched beside the fountain, tightening a bolt, he heard laughter, elegant, effortless laughter that made him look up. Across the courtyard stood a young woman, perhaps in her late 20s, wearing a cream blazer over a silk blouse. Her name was Serena Whitmore. Everyone in town knew her, the heiress who'd inherited her late father's business empire. But she wasn't like the tabloids described her. Yes, she was rich, beautiful, and confident, but her eyes held a hint of loneliness, something Aaron recognized all too well. He didn't mean to stare, but Serena caught his gaze and smiled politely before walking away. For Aaron, that should have been the end of it. Just another day, another rich person's event he helped prepare but could never belong to. But fate, it seemed, had a strange sense of humor. The next morning, he was called into the manager's office. "Aaron," his boss said, "Serena Whitmore personally requested you to assist with lighting arrangements inside the ballroom today. Don't mess this up." Aaron didn't understand why, but he nodded and went to work. Inside the ballroom, Serena stood beside a group of decorators, her tone kind but decisive. When Aaron entered, she turned to him with a warm smile. "You're the one who fixed the fountain lights yesterday, right?" "They looked beautiful last night," she said. He stammered a quiet thank you and got to work while she discussed color palettes with the staff. Over the next week, Aaron found himself running into Serena often. Sometimes she'd bring him coffee when he worked late. Other times, she'd ask about his daughter, genuinely interested. She didn't treat him like the help, she treated him like a person. Slowly, conversations grew longer. She learned he was a single dad, that Chloe's mother had left when she was 2, and that he was doing everything he could to give her a better life. Serena listened with quiet admiration. She told him about her late father, how running his company felt like living in a cage built of expectations. Despite their worlds being miles apart, their hearts somehow spoke the same language, loneliness wrapped in responsibility. Then came the night that changed everything. The charity gala was 2 days away, and Serena had everything planned, except for one small detail. Her mother had been pestering her for weeks to bring a date to avoid rumors about her being too focused on business. She sighed, tired of the pressure. And then, as she watched Aaron testing the fairy lights by the balcony, a wild, almost reckless thought crossed her mind. That afternoon, she walked up to him. "Aaron," she began, her voice a mix of confidence and nervousness, "I need to ask you something strange." He looked up from his toolbox, surprised. She took a deep breath and said the words that would change both their lives. "Will you be my date to the party?" Aaron froze. He thought he'd misheard her. "I'm sorry, what?" he asked. Serena smiled, embarrassed but determined. "I'm serious. I need someone real by my side, someone who won't pretend. I'm tired of fake people. You're kind, genuine, and you make me feel grounded. So will you." He laughed softly, shaking his head. "You're joking. You're Serena Whitmore. I fix light bulbs for a living." But she didn't back down. "Exactly. That's why I'm asking you." That night, Aaron couldn't sleep. He kept replaying her words. It made no sense. What could a man like him offer a woman like her? But when he looked at Chloe sleeping beside him, clutching her teddy bear, something stirred inside. Maybe, just maybe, life was offering him a moment of light after years of darkness. On the day of the gala, Aaron arrived at the estate wearing a simple black suit he'd borrowed from a friend. His hands trembled as he walked through the glittering halls filled with chandeliers and laughter. When Serena appeared at the top of the staircase in a silver gown that shimmered like starlight, the room fell silent. Every camera turned toward her, and then she reached out her hand toward him. Whispers filled the room. Who's he? Her date? Impossible. Isn't he the maintenance guy? But Serena didn't care. She smiled proudly and said, "Aaron, shall we?" He nodded, taking her hand, his heart pounding louder than the music. Throughout the evening, Serena stayed by his side, introducing him to guests, ignoring judgmental looks. Aaron tried to stay composed, but deep down he felt out of place. When her ex, a polished businessman named Victor, sneered, "So this is your new charity project?" Aaron's face flushed with humiliation. Before he could walk away, Serena turned to Victor, her eyes fierce. "No," she said firmly, "who's not a project? He's a good man. Something you could never understand." The tension broke when the band began playing a slow tune. Serena turned to Aaron and whispered, "Dance with me." He hesitated. "Serena, I don't belong here." She smiled softly. "You belong wherever there's kindness, Aaron. That's what makes you different." As they danced under the soft glow of the chandeliers, the crowd's whispers faded into nothing. It felt like the world had stopped spinning. Two souls from opposite worlds finding peace in each other's presence. But the fairy tale glow didn't last long. The next morning, photos of Serena dancing with her worker date flooded social media. Critics mocked her. Her board of directors warned her that such behavior could damage the company's image. Even her mother called it disgraceful. Serena defended Aaron, but the pressure was immense. And when Aaron saw the news, shame hit him like a storm. He didn't want to be the reason she lost everything. That evening, he went to her office, his face pale and tired. "Serena, I can't let you do this," he said quietly. "People are tearing you apart because of me." She looked at him, her voice trembling. "Do you regret saying yes to me?" He shook his head. "No, but you deserve someone who fits into your world. I don't." She reached out, tears welling in her eyes. "Aaron, I don't care about the world." But he stepped back. "I do, because Chloe looks up to me. I need to protect her from this mess. Goodbye, Serena." He walked away, leaving her standing in silence, her heart breaking for a man who didn't even realize how much he'd changed her. Days turned into weeks. Serena tried to focus on work, but everything felt hollow. Meanwhile, Aaron went back to his quiet life, fixing lights, cooking dinners, and reading bedtime stories to Chloe. Yet every night, when he turned off the lights, he saw Serena's smile in the dark. Then one afternoon, as he picked Chloe up from school, she handed him a small envelope. "Daddy, a pretty lady gave this to me." Inside was an invitation, not printed, but handwritten. "Charity event, community garden project, for single parents and working families, signed Serena Whitmore." Aaron hesitated for days before going. When he arrived, the venue wasn't a grand hall this time. It was a public park decorated with fairy lights and laughter. Families, children, and volunteers filled the place. Serena stood near the entrance, wearing jeans and a soft yellow blouse, her eyes lighting up the moment she saw him. "I thought you'd never come," she said softly. Aaron smiled faintly. "I almost didn't." She looked around at the crowd. "I wanted to do something real, something that matters. This project is for people like you, Aaron. You showed me what kindness looks like when the world isn't watching." Chloe ran up to Serena, hugging her legs.
"Miss Serena, Daddy says you're his friend."
Serena knelt down, smiling through tears. "I hope I can be your friend too, sweetheart." Aaron's throat tightened. In that moment, he realized what her shocking decision had truly been. It wasn't just inviting him to a party. It was choosing kindness over image, truth over luxury, and love over judgment. As the evening sky turned golden, Serena and Aaron stood together watching children play under strings of lights. No cameras, no gossip, just two hearts quietly healing in each other's presence. If this story touched your heart, if you believe love can bloom in the most unexpected places, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Journal. Your support helps us spread more stories of hope, kindness, and second chances. Special request: comment below with "Kindness wins." If you believe every person, no matter how broken or humble, deserves love and respect. And somewhere in that gentle twilight, Aaron finally took Serena's hand, not as a rich girl and a single dad, but as two souls who had learned that sometimes love isn't about status, it's about courage. The end.